This is the cold-hearted player, and you're listening to Uncorked with Kip.
Howdy, everybody. This is Kit Osborne, and you're listening to Uncorked with Kit, episode, I don't fucking know. I'll be honest with you, I've been lazy, at least in terms of this podcast. I've been trying my goddamn best, okay? But it's hard. You know, it just gets colder and colder. Right now, as I'm speaking, I'm in my warm car, and it's 15 degrees outside. All right? That's bullshit. Like, nobody should have to leave their house when it's 15 degrees out, all right? There should be some type of a package that you get in the mail, you know, so you can order, you know, like Uber Eats or something, you know. It's, hey, no, listen, we get it, you know. It's hard. But no, we don't. I have to go now. I'm driving to a show, which I'm really fucking excited about. Why? Because I went 3 months without fucking wrestling. And that truly sucks. And right now I'm almost at 100% with my ankle. I definitely feel the weather. However, that's not going to stop me. I'm going to fucking put one foot in front of the other because I can now. But for the most part, I feel pretty good. And I think that's what matters. You know, I feel pretty good because, one, last week I won the On Point Wrestling Championship, which I think really means something. Maybe not to everybody, but to me it does. It means that in about like 5 matches that I've had since I've been back, you know, somebody trusted me enough to have their title. You know, they just go, hey, listen, we know that you're fragile, you know, but we think that, you know, we're going to give you this title. We're going to give you the ball, and we're going to hope that you don't fucking drop it, you know? And you know, it's been a week, and I haven't defended it, but I don't think I'm going to drop it. You know, I think I'm going to hold on to it for a good while, and I think I'm going to make it mean more, all right? But you never know, right? So, anyway, that's what my life has been like in terms of wrestling. My personal life is a whole other matter, but I feel good, and every day it's feeling a little bit better. Right now, as I speak to you, it's January 15th, 2022, and this interview I had is with Jeff Roberts. You guys all know who the fuck that is, but you may know him as Nico Sozio, the former CZW World Heavyweight Champion when CZW meant something, and Niles Young, which you may or may not remember. I mean, he's been wrestling for a long-ass time. He doesn't wrestle anymore because he can't fucking hang, and that's fine, but he's happy where he is. Graphic designer, stay at home, uses his laptop, you know, with his might-as-well-be wife and his kid. I think he's living the dream, honestly. And for him to be happy and to have retired and stayed retired since 2016, 5 years ago, I think that's something special right there. And that's something that I think not many of us could do. I know I certainly won't be able to step away from wrestling as easily. But, you know, I'm also not the same age as him. He's fucking old. But he's bitter. And he's angry all the time. Nothing's ever good enough. And he's got to bitch a lot. And that's why I have this platform. It's for people to bitch and complain and shoot on other wrestlers that they fake smile and handshake and work with and never hurt. And they say they love. They say they're happy for them when they're not. I'm not saying that Jeff is like that. I know he is, but I know that, you know, I'm not going to say that he is in front of you, even though I just did. But regardless, this is our conversation. We talk about everything under the sun, under his wrestling career that actually matters, that people care about. And we shit on CZW a lot. So I think that, if anything, means that this is going to, you know, be a really good show. So anyway, here's my conversation with Niles Young, Nico Sozio, and I know him as Jeff Roberts.
You could just tell everybody you're interviewing young Jeff Goldblum.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
All right. But, Jeff, how are you? Mr. Sozio, Niles Young, a bunch of different names, you know, and nobody remembers any of them. But
yeah.
welcome to Uncorked with Kit, man.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks for having me on. Been looking forward to being a guest on your show ever since I designed the logo for it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people kind of forget that, in addition to being a mediocre wrestler, I'm an expert graphic artist.
Yes, you are. Yeah, you are. I'm really happy with that. I mean, I remember all I had to do is just explain a little bit of what I wanted, and then you're just like, yeah, you're an idiot, and then you just did it better. You're like, you're not creative at all. I don't know why, why you even do this, but.
Yeah, I mean, it's just you got to trust the process, as they say.
Yeah.
What do you have in there tonight?
So what I figured, when I was at the store, Whole Foods, not bragging, I wanted to get something Italian since, you're like the most Italian person I know. And so what I got here is a Chianti, and it's called Da Vinci. So I've never had it. It was fairly, it was a fair price. You're not like some superstar, so it was enough. I'm not breaking out my Undertaker wine for this one.
Yeah, no, fuck that. I don't really drink much anymore these days. You know me, my thing was always weed, and I don't even do that really anymore. But when I was drinking, I did like this Apothic Red. It's a red wine that I enjoy, and my Freemasonic glass here, for a Stonecutter's glass there. And in case anyone doesn't know, this means I'm better than you.
Yep. As long as you drink it with your pinky up.
And I just tell people all the time, like, don't worry, I'll tell you where not to be the next time we do a 9/11. All right?
Wow.
I'll tell my friends where not to be.
Oh my God.
Yes. But here's before we get started, here's cheers to you, my friend, with your illustrious young Hickenbottom hair there, and rest in peace to Jimmy Rave. Hopefully, the stairway to heaven has an escalator.
Wow.
What?
If there was anybody that would think that would be funny, it would be him, though. Fucking, he'd be cracking the fuck up.
Yeah,
it is like that really sucked. So, as we record this today, we found out that Jimmy Rave passed away. It was really unexpected because I was just talking to him maybe say about like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and I was just talking about having him on the show, and we were just saying like, oh yeah, like whatever after Thanksgiving, we'll figure something out. But we usually would talk every once in a while, but I just didn't expect this, at all. So it is,
it's a real shame, man. And I mean, we like I think we were saying beforehand, like we can sit here and speculate as to what happened and why. I mean, a lot of people seem to think they know, and who knows really. But it's it's just sad to see somebody that was at one time on top of the world, a lot of ways in the wrestling world, and certainly a gigantic influence to so many people that you see working today. Pass away, man. It's terrible,
Yeah, it's absolutely. I mean, it's a lot of what I've been seeing are a lot of people screenshotting conversations. I'm sure like I would do the same. I have to go back and look, but. He's always like somebody there that would just randomly message me and then comment something really nice or something that he liked that I was doing that he noticed. And, even before all this, before, everything has been going on with him. But it is a shame. So, rest in peace, Jimmy Rave.
Yeah, man.
So, now that, another person, you've been done wrestling now for
since 2016.
2016, 5 years ago.
Yeah.
5 years ago, you stuck with it, Which is,
what's that?
I said it's been 5 years and a little over 5 years, hasn't it? But and you stuck with it,
Like the decision to stay away.
Yeah, the decision to stay the fuck out.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and I mean, I've been back a few times to do little things here and there, like when CCW was still running and sort of relevant. Like I went back when Lyle passed away for his tribute show. I went back to CCW to be a part of the Hall of Fame inductions for Adam Flash and Messiah when they did all those, and like Sanjay and that group of guys. But other than that, I'd be lying if I said that there weren't times, probably early on in the retirement phase, where I was like, I could come back and at least have a couple matches, and then I just always would think about it twice and just be like, for what? I'm not coming back full time. I'm not in a position where I can be traveling all the time.
Right.
I don't I'm not that well off that I can sort of waste the time and energy and money that, as you know, we do, unless you're under a big contract and making a lot of money. So,
Right.
the decision to walk away and stay away was just kind of easy, you know?
Dude, I totally get it. I mean, I think, I mean, I obviously like probably more involved now more than ever, even, obviously more before I broke my ankle, but,
Right.
for the most part, it's like I'm so involved now. It's like, it's to the point, it's obvious, it's pretty obvious, my real name. I'm not going to
Yeah,
say it, but, that I'm Kit like almost all the fucking time is what I've
sure.
come to learn, and it was a lot harder or that transition was a lot longer rather for me than it was for, most people that just, they started wrestling and then that's who they are and that was it. And,
Yeah.
I always think, it took years for me to become more Kit than I am,
Right.
before. So I don't know if that
But
translates to everybody, but,
yeah, I
it's,
mean, at the end of the day, though, you do stay grounded, right? Like you don't let it get too far away from you because, I mean, I just from my experience, I can tell you for sure that that's not good. I mean, it's not healthy. It's not good for your mind and just
yeah.
any aspect of your life. Like, you just don't want people that you really care about and that you really love to think that you're that full of yourself or that like you're somehow not who they come to know and love. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean that's exactly. I mean it's like your friends from home, the ones that I value that don't give a fuck about wrestling or where
Right,
I
right,
was at or what I did,
right.
and they did. It's like, hey guys, I was just on Vice TV because I was doing this. They're like, oh yeah, sweet. Do you wanna? Yeah, we're gonna go out. Do you wanna come? And we're just like, yeah, all right. So and
Yeah.
then yeah, shut the fuck up.
It,
Nobody cares.
it really is. It really is like a switch that you kind of have to turn off and on. You know what I mean? Like the
Mhm.
same way that like you might be full of butterflies and worried about remembering your spots right before you go through the curtain, and then you go through the curtain and it's go time. Like you flip a switch, and you're somebody else at that point. It's time to entertain. It's time to not give a fuck. It's time to
Yeah.
walk differently, talk differently, and everything. But yeah, I mean, going between wrestling life and real life, quote unquote, is tough. And you definitely have to learn to manage that. If I could drop some wisdom right off the bat.
I mean, it does make sense. I mean, first of all, I think one of the most important things that uh, that we all should have, especially when I'm doing death matches and shit, is having health insurance. And
Yeah,
I think that's pretty fucking important. And then, but guess what? Every single time I didn't have health insurance, I got hurt. And
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
that's it. I'm like, so the day that I ever don't, or I don't buy it on, my own or whatever,
Yeah.
then I don't think
And
I can do it.
and you're not young enough anymore to still be under mommy and daddy's health coverage. You know what I mean? You're a big boy now.
Yeah.
A lot of fucking kids are on their mom or dad's health insurance till they're like 26 now. It's like what the
Yeah,
fuck?
26. Shit, more power to them. I was definitely, I was off of it like in my early 20s because of I had like a full time job, so I just
Yeah,
wasn't on it. But shit,
yeah,
if you can do it,
yeah.
and at
That
least
just
in
reminded
Canada,
me.
like how many of
What's that?
those that we know that have gotten injured, but they're Canadian and they're like, don't fucking take me to a hospital here. I'll wait
Yeah,
until
yeah,
I come back. I'll wait
yeah,
till I
yeah,
go
yeah, yeah.
home.
Yeah, I can make it home. I'll just put ice on this till I get home or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
No,
god.
but that's something I was thinking about recently because somebody got hurt, and I mean it doesn't matter who, but every time somebody gets hurt, that's a full-time wrestler. A GoFundMe gets started, and it's not even necessarily by them. I understand that, but like
Yeah.
a GoFundMe for thousands and thousands of dollars will get started by somebody who cares about them, and somewhere in the blurb, in their summary on their GoFundMe, it'll be like this is my full-time job and this is my
Yeah.
passion and I don't like that I'm asking for this money but thanks for the money anyway and like it just makes me think like, okay, well, like when I went to college, that dug a nice debt hole for me, right? Like, you know what I mean? Of which, I'll be 40 in May, and I still have some college. Yeah, dude, I'm old as fuck. I look great though. No grays, though, But what I was saying is like I still have some debts that I'm paying off. I graduated in 2004. So here's what I'm getting at with this, and tell me what you think. So part of my full-time career of being a graphic designer involved going to school, acquiring debt, accruing debt, and I don't ask for help, right? So if it needs to be understood by you and anybody that if you're a full-time wrestler or you're a pro wrestler and that's what you claim to be and that's how you pay your bills, part of being a pro wrestler is getting hurt, and unfortunately sometimes seriously hurt. So it needs to be understood that at any point in your career you could accrue $10, $20, $30,000 in debt for a fucking injury that you sustained. So why is it okay for a wrestler to ask for money from the fans, but I'm not going to ask for any money to help me pay for the debt that I accrued in my career? Do you see what I'm saying? Like it's just a little pathetic. You know what I mean?
I don't think you're off. But the only difference that I think is, if a wrestler gets injured, that's their thing. That's their their income. The reason why fans, or even other wrestlers or whatever that enjoy working with them is because they want to see them in the ring, and they want to see them as fast as possible. They don't want to see them come back too early and struggle or whatever. And so at the end of the day, it's like that's we have followings, and
right.
So I mean, if people are willing, to give that money, it's because they appreciate your work. They want you in the ring. I mean, I
agree.
I wouldn't give you a dime.
No.
But that's really it. It's just like they're not, not real people sometimes. Like we're talking about, we can separate, and I can be, the individual I am locally, where I live, and then I turn it on the second I'm, going to the airport when I'm putting my fucking cowboy boots over my jeans, and I'm just like waiting, just begging for somebody at that airport to ask me why I'm flying. Please ask me why I'm flying so I can tell you, and everybody else wants to hear. Like,
Yeah. To be like, oh, you wrestle? Oh,
yeah. It's just, dude, it's the same thing with like, I was watching comedians in cars getting coffee, and it was Barack Obama was a guest in Jerry Seinfeld's car thing, and he's like, do you ever, not like being a celebrity? And Jerry's just like, no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
I fucking love it, and
and I think it's different personalities, you know what I mean? I think different celebrities feel differently about it, and then there's different like stratospheres too, you know what I mean? There's the kind of celebrity that literally can't go anywhere, like your Johnny Depp and Kevin Hart, like they can't go anywhere, you know what I mean? Like and then there's your lesser tier of people that can still kind of walk through an airport, take a few photos, sign a few autographs, and be on their way. But I'm sure for some people after a lifetime of it might get old, but I guess not for Seinfeld.
Yeah. But it is one of those. It's just like, you act like you don't want to take a picture with like a fan. It's like, nah, we all really fucking like being asked. Like I fucking love it. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. I mean, of course there are times where I don't want to be fucking touched. How many times I've been a lot recently in like the last year, it's like every second somebody's like hitting me in the back or whatever. They're touching my hair, and I'm just like, fuck off. Like, that's why I'm staying on this side of the table now, and I don't want to go over there, but I'm like, wow. And that doesn't happen super often. So those that it does happen to, like, I'm just like, wow, man, I totally get it.
I was always honored anytime anybody wanted to take a picture with me or an autograph or something. You know what I mean? It was, even if it was a bad time, I was always like, yeah, sure, man, whatever. Yeah. Like it's flattering, for to feel like you have any sort of impact on a stranger's life because of like the wrestling shit you do, it's just a fun feeling, you know?
It is. It's awesome, and which it's like, but then there's that where we talk about, like, yeah, like I absolutely love it, like when somebody asks me like why I'm flying, when I'm flying for wrestling, so I can be like, cause I'm a fucking wrestler, like
Yeah.
it's great. But
I'm a big fucking deal.
yeah, exactly. I'm a big deal. I'm the biggest deal on this plane. If I didn't want to wear a mask, I won't fucking wear it. Like, until I do. But then there's like that. There are those people that we obviously love that, but at the same time, there are those that let it get to their head, and all of a sudden you get a little bit of a following, and then you really start to think that your fucking opinion matters, like on Twitter, and
Yeah.
that's when you just go, oh, okay, here's David Starr gonna talk about everything politically under the sun or whatever, and he's not, even if you agree with him, he's not gonna let you get a fucking word in, because he just
Right.
likes the idea that he gets like 1,000 likes on it,
Yeah,
So
well, I mean, I guess he kind of had to find his lane there because he got sort of extradited from wrestling. You know what I mean? Which
yeah, yeah,
which I feel bad for him because, like, to be honest, like I still very much. I mean, I would consider him a friend still. I mean, we don't really talk much other than the occasional text from time to time. But like, I thought he was a good kid, but misguided. You know what I mean? Like he came from a pretty privileged life. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And comes from a place of privilege. I'm not saying his home life was ever perfect or mother and father and marriages and divorces and all this and that. I'm sure that was tough and yada yada. But it's a shame when I don't know. I didn't particularly like the way that he got attacked and basically canceled. You know what I'm saying? I think it's just a little too easy to, again, cancel people nowadays and for any offense, and I think he has come clean and knows that he was douchey in a lot of ways, whether it was in the business or with relationships or
right,
whatever. But I think that if we're living in a society where we're not giving people any opportunity at redemption, then just understand that you will be next. Like the pitchforks and the torches will be coming for you next for some reason. And when you want your chance at redemption and don't get it, just remember how you treated him. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. I mean, you see it, you've seen that happen. You see the like people's opinions, and then all of a sudden it backfire. I mean, yeah, I think David Starr, his reason of, I mean, really, like I've talked about it before, is like he got canceled, right? Yeah, he was definitely a douche and a half, but the reason why it did escalate the way it did is because he just doesn't know how to shut the fuck up. Like,
Yeah,
he
true,
really
true.
thought he could just talk his way out of it, and then he came, oh yeah, I was so and so. It's just like, dude, I would have just stopped. like you're not winning this. Like we live in a it's a guilty until proven innocent type of place, and obviously we know that, like, one of the arguments has always been like, all these people that are getting canceled are getting coupled together in the same thing. It's like
Right.
what Star, and I don't really know everything. I just know that he just wouldn't shut the fuck up and he got canceled, and I'm friends with, I'm friends with the girl or whatever, and I'm just like, I just sit there, I'm just a spectator. I go, I don't have an opinion on this thing. I mean, if everything you said that he did is true, then yeah, he's a piece of shit, but if it's whatever. So I definitely don't want to be involved in it, but it is really great entertainment on Twitter, though,
Yeah, for sure,
and
for sure.
that's we all like watching train wrecks, and that's unfortunate, but we
Yeah.
do.
I mean, yeah, and I mean, and I'm sure that I think that was kind of one of the things we wanted to talk about was like just how, just to get off of that, just how social media and Twitter and everything has kind of changed the game. Not even just with wrestling, but with fucking everything. But I mean, specifically wrestling.
Yeah,
It's just wild how there's this. it's a message board. You know what I mean? It's a glorified message board. And now, instead of just like nerd dork losers, it's everyone. You know what I mean? On the message board. And like we were talking about, like everyone feels entitled, and everyone thinks that their opinion matters. And the people reading the stuff about themselves let that shit get to them. And it's so completely not important. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you are who you are. And, the people that love you will love you regardless. You know what I'm saying? And I could just tell you for sure, having been away from wrestling for so long, like you are one of like the 5 people probably that I talk to regularly from the business. You know what I mean? And right now you probably think I have hundreds of friends. I see all these people in the locker room and we hug and we do this and that month to month or whatever. When you're done this, dude, you will not hear from them again. And I mean, I'm not even trying to be a dick about it. It's just
I know you're not.
Yeah,
I've
you
had this
will not hear
conversation
from them anymore. You know?
I've talked to, like, I remember I bring it up. I feel like I bring it up a lot, like, because when I was out, I was out for 3 months, and I only maybe stopped in to a show like once or twice, but like during that time away, you're just like, man, what if this was it, and you slowly see all those people, they disappear from your lives. I was talking about it with Effie, and I was saying, like, hey man, like, do you ever just think about how, like, there's gonna be a day where we all just don't do this anymore, and everybody has different reasons. Some of them will be super involved, like I'll probably be a ref at some point, like, but that's just how it is. Like, there are those that are going to be able to walk away, like you, and then there are going to be those that just hold on to it for dear life until they physically aren't allowed to anymore, and or mentally can't hang anymore. And that just seems to be like, it's always at the back of my mind, but we're always obviously too busy just living in the now.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I mean, I can tell you for sure, like, I mean, with my, wisdom or whatever you want to call it, you realize so much every year, every 5 years, every decade, like how fucking dumb you were the previous decade, and like, I thought I would wrestle till I died. I thought that I would like be one of these idiots that, like, I had the sickness like anybody else. But as you get older, you feel different physically, you feel different mentally, you've learned more, and your priorities just change, and for me, that was obviously when I was about to become a father, I was like, I'm done with this, and if I may be judgmental, because that's what I do and I hurt feelings, like I don't know how anybody who's a parent, or especially a parent of younger children, continues to wrestle. Whether it's because of the schedule, like if you're a successful wrestler and you're away all the time, whether it's because of that, or just like your willingness to literally risk paralysis on a nightly basis, knowing you have a small child to worry about and take care of, whether that's just financially or being able to play with them. You know what I mean? And I knew right away that my days were numbered. As soon as, Danielle and I got pregnant, like, I was like, okay, I'm done with this then, because even if I roll an ankle and I can't go to work for 2 weeks, that's money out of the whole family's pocket. You know what I mean? And I couldn't imagine wrestling now and taking a fucking, a turnbuckle brain buster or whatever the fuck, knowing that, like, I have to play with my son on the, this week or whatever. And I'm not going to be able to because I took a fucking DVD on the apron and broke my neck. Shout out to Preacher.
Yeah, that's the second I fucking thought of.
So shout out to Preacher, because
I can't wait. I'm gonna splice that clip, put that right on the.
And I'm not shitting on him by saying that.
We are. Yeah, we are.
I'm not. He's a great guy, and he's super knowledgeable and a great teacher, and great at everything. It's just he broke his neck taking a DVD on the apron, and that's what I said.
Yeah.
But
and that's what I said.
that's what I said. No, but yeah, like, I knew that for me it was time to go then, and I just I'm like I said, I'm judging fucking people that continue to do it. Like you have small children and you're out there taking fucking the craziest shit ever, and
Yeah.
you know,
If it's not financially beneficial, then then really at that point you're neglecting a kid and you're just hanging out with your friends, or you're
yeah,
still playing, you're following some dream that you never really were gonna make it anyway, but you're still like hanging on to it, like your baseball cards, when your wife
sure,
is just trying to say like, oh no, everything goes in the attic of yours. Fuck that.
yeah,
And then you're
fuck
just a
you,
guy holding your baseball cards, like, is it all right if I go to the game with the boys? Like,
yeah.
it's like,
And
no.
I mean, and also too with me, I had been doing it about 12, 13 years at that point,
Mhm.
and I was in my mid 30s. I was 34, I'm pretty sure, when Nico was born, and I, I I kind of also saw the way the business was going and didn't want anything to do with it.
Yeah.
I knew that it was becoming a buzz business, a social. I mean, whether you want to say it's social media buzz or just I mean, and that's not to say that it wasn't always like that. You know what I mean? Obviously, if you were a worker that generated buzz and were popular, you got pushed or you got signed or
Right.
whatever. But now it's so superficial and such bullshit. Like you were just telling me, a girl is having her debut match in AEW. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
oh,
she did.
what the?
Oh, look at this.
Come here, buddy. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. He's supposed to be in bed. My son
You're
is
supposed to be in bed.
he's actually pretty sick, but obviously not right now. He's fine. I gotta let me text the missus to come get this little this
Oh,
little
that's
little
great.
little, little shit ass.
Ah, yeah, that's right. Make him curse. What was his first word? Fuck.
Yeah, definitely. Good thing I can hear you. He can't. Hang on
That's
one
great.
second.
Uh, so I mean, those that are watched or they're just listening to this podcast right now on Spotify.
Did you
Yeah,
hear me talking
Nico
about you? Is that why
Sozio's
you came up here?
son.
I was like, you must have heard me like talking trash, and you were like, oh, who, me? I'm why you quit wrestling? Yeah.
Can't believe it. That's
And
smart, right?
fortunately, he looks like his mommy, so he's cute.
Yeah, yeah. He doesn't have that nose of yours. That's
Not yet. Anyway, we're
yeah, no,
hoping
yeah. He's still
we're
growing.
hoping puberty is kind to him.
His God.
Mhm.
Oh man.
Hang on,
But
mommy needs you, buddy. Mommy needs you.
but
I
yeah,
heard I
yeah,
heard something sneaking up behind me. I was like, what?
yeah. I saw this little head over there. I was like, what's that?
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, we were going like, yeah, right. We yeah, there is. I was just telling you that this. I thought you knew her, Nikki Duke. But I
Yeah.
guess you didn't meet, so that's why.
Yeah.
But yeah, like debuted like first match at AEW, and the thing is, like, I was thinking about how bitter a lot of people. I mean, yeah, that's nuts. First of all, I mean, I tell her that straight up. I was like, that's
It
fucking insane. That's your first
it's
matchup.
irresponsible. It's irresponsible on the
Well,
part of
I mean, it wasn't like a
AEW and like
one-on-one thing. I think it was like a tag. I mean, I'm sure there was
whatever, man.
plenty of preparation or whatever. But I mean, at least on her end, I'm like, man, if that was my first match, like I was shitting my pants, and it was in front of like 10 people, and and she's got it, and let's just say there's like 7,000 at dark. Like I don't really know how many, but like that's fucking insane, And but
Yeah.
the thing is, like, what I was trailing it into is like how fast so many of these guys are coming in, and it's not any at all at any point their fault or anything like that. I mean, that's great for them. I wish
Yeah.
that it was like me, but I like, I guess I just got that tail end of the that you don't get to have any offense type of training, and I'm like, I'm so happy
Right.
that doesn't
Right.
exist anymore. But in yet, like, at the same time, I'm like, man, fuck y'all. Like, I wanted that. God damn it. Like, and I
Yeah.
had this, like, oh,
Yeah.
it's not believable. It's not believable that, like, I could, that somebody would sell, my punch. And I just go, dude, I've gotten punched in the face by like a little 6-year-old cousin of mine, and I fucking almost cried. You're gonna tell me that like me like punching you like square in the nose or the jaw like isn't anything? Like, come on, fuck out.
And what else is unfortunate, I would say, on your behalf, is that you fall into sort of a category. I lost your video there. I don't know if you're still there.
I'm still here.
Okay. Gotcha. You're starting to fall into a category that I fell into later in my career, where you've been around a long time. A lot of people know you. A lot of people respect you, and they know that you're good. But because you've been around a while, you no longer have the opportunity to be the new flavor of the month. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't have the opportunity to be this person breaking out onto the scene, even if you have gotten exponentially better and that you are the best you've ever been, which is, pat myself on the back. Like toward the tail end of my career, I was the best I had ever been. Like 2013, 14, the stuff leading into Cage of Death with Gulak and Biff and Nell.
Yeah.
Like I was in the best shape I'd ever been in. I was having the best matches I ever had. I was wrestling higher profile people, but it didn't particularly matter because I was a name and a face that had been around for over a decade. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard to sort of be that buzz person that Twitter talks about or whatever, and then end up on AEW Dark, which.
Yeah. Like, you don't want it to be I would think, like, you don't want it to be like hey, he's on AEW because, we all respect him, and not because, hey, his character is fucking great and we see money, like that's what you obviously want, you want that to be the reason.
Sure.
And
or both, or
like yeah, and I hated, and I still hate, like, the word vet. Like, I don't fucking vet. Like, dude, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing most of the time. I get like, I mean, I'm sure we'll get into it, but I mean, in terms of like when I'm calling a match or whatever, I get so involved where it's like I catch myself not being, a rational human being, and I'm fucking so sunk into the story that I'm about to tell. And then I, like arguing with somebody like 3 times my size, because I really want this point to be made, and like,
sure.
A lot of times I think I've yelled at like Dan O'Hare, or Schlack. Like, dude, I mean, like, I don't think people, if they were to see video of me calling something with Schlack in the back and then arguing and like fucking yelling, they'd be like, wow, man, like, Kid Osborne really is Kid Osborne, isn't he? Like, he's really like that, isn't he?
Yeah, right.
And they'd be like, I can't believe you talk to him like that.
Yeah.
And he goes,
that's
I'm just passionate. I'm just passionate,
Well, right.
But
that's also because they don't realize that you are sort of Schlack's senior in the business. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, I mean, he's just old. Like, he's just old, But, but anyway, I mean, to go back, it's just that you want somebody, like I'd want to, if I get an opportunity in AEW or whatever, I don't ever want it to be because I know somebody. I want it to be because somebody likes what they're seeing or whatever. And right. I think that, it's just like the whole, like whoever said that, to take time off and learn a new hole, like what, JR, like, and that's a fucking really good statement. I think 3 months away, when I got injured, did nothing but help me. Like, I mean, personally, mentally, like, come together and not live in the moment anymore, and then just kind of third person look at who the fuck I am, who I want to be, even in ways of like how I talk to people, or how I present myself when I'm not wrestling, and
right.
things like that. It's like, yeah, it is still a business, and you're just getting a little too comfortable sometimes.
Right. Well, I could tell you, as I knew you when you were still like barely even a trainee at CZW, and I could tell you for sure you were always a little shit ass douche. Like, you were always a little fuck.
Thank you.
And I'm sure you probably kind of remember this, but like I liked you immediately because you were never afraid to just break my balls. Like, you know what I mean? Like I was sitting out back on the stoop at the ECW arena, and I had on some, just probably some aviators or whatever. And like this is when you were just like barely fucking like getting your beak wet, and you were just like, hey, nice sunglasses or whatever. Like
That was all I said. It wasn't even a good joke.
like it wasn't even a diss. It wasn't even a diss, but like just the douchey way. Yeah, it was so funny. I was like, oh, this guy's fucking great. I was like, he like gets it already. Like, you know what I mean? You were the Niles Young to like my Adam Flash. You know what I'm saying? Like, you were like, yeah, nice fucking sunglasses or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
And it was so stupid and funny. And I was like, oh, okay, he's gonna be around for a while. He gets it, he might be fucking 4'3", but he'll be around.
Oh, dude. It's funny. Like, you know what it is? I have more fun when I'll say it this way. So at MLW, not bragging. Tom Waller and I, like, I'll tell you, like, those, I like working there. Like, there's no fat in their product. Like, as in when they have, I remember like the one day I'm there and they had 4 shows they taped, and I'm involved in every single one of them. They're telling me exactly what I need to do, and they're doing it in such a simplistic, way of and it being explained in such a way that it sunk right in. Knew exactly what I needed to do. I knew what my wiggle room was, and I knew everything. And then, there was like, it was recent. It was just a few months ago, and I get booked, and it was me in like a tag match against the Von Erichs. I didn't even know I was having a match until I got there, because all I thought I was doing was this battle royal thing, which they needed like 60 people for. But I didn't realize that, like, wow, I'm involved in this show for somebody who doesn't have a contract with them a lot, and I'm loving the fuck out of it. But it was like at one point, it was Tom Waller and I up, like, it was at the arena. We're upstairs in that room. Yeah. Which, by the way, I still have a picture of you and Nell in that same room, like right against the same wall or whatever. And I was like, the way that you looked, and I'm just like, it was like definitely a compliment for you, like the best shape I've ever seen you in. You had like the beard and all that. I was like, holy shit. Dude.
Oh yeah.
That guy's got a lot ahead of him, you know.
Little did you know.
But it was Tom Waller and I sitting on the couch, and we're looking at Savio Vega, who I'm, losing my mind to. And I was just told, dude. And I was told earlier in the day, like, yeah, I have a spot with him in the Battle Royal, and I'm just like, what? Dude,
I would have been freaking out too. Yeah. I would have been fucking marking out.
I'm like, nah, man, dude, it's still worth it. It's still, it's still like, it's still fun as
Los
shit.
Boricuas.
Yeah. But we're, and he's such a nice guy, but we were just kind of, so I was kind of fucking with him. And like, I'm like, why am I doing this? And I was just poking at him going, hey, what's his name? Hey, Tommy, did I tell you? Savio, hey, we were told that you actually needed to wear your Nation of Domination gear for this one. And he's like, oh, dude, I left it at home. And I was like, dude, man, come on. You've been doing this for how long? Rule number 1, man, never forget your gear, dude. Bring your gear everywhere. Am I right, Tom? Dude. Tom's like, yeah, right.
he probably really like appreciated that. You know what I mean?
Oh, he loved it.
I mean, like, anybody that would get fucking pissed off about shit like that is like in real life a douche. You know what I'm saying? Like,
those are the ones that you don't want to work with. Like, and I'm not definitely not naming names, because I just know my luck. And I'm gonna fucking end up working with them, but But I just, I don't want to. I like poking the bear. Like I got asked, describe your character in like 4 words, and I was like, poke the fucking bear.
Yeah, no, that's you, dude.
I'm like, that's me in real life. Yeah. So it just translates. But
yeah, that's definitely your character as well, like, I think.
Yeah, but it was just, I mean, that's why we do it, I guess. But what were we talking about?
Yeah, I don't know. I think we were talking about. I was saying how like what I liked you from the get go because you were a shit ass, and then you were saying about how you did that to Savio, but I don't exactly remember why. I
Oh,
was
it was just
saying,
that, like, dude. I mean, like, I think in the business that we're in, there's nobody that should be off limits. Like, we all do this. We all do take it serious. Like when we go out there and we know what we're supposed to do, or ideas that we're passionate about our character, even though we joke about it and we don't want to necessarily take ourselves too serious, like all the
right,
time. We do when the camera's on, and we want to be, when you're Sozio, you're fucking Sozio, like,
yeah,
and then when we go in the back and we fucking hug, or we go in the back and then we bitch behind each other's backs, like, but that's
right,
just the, it's because we're passionate about, what we are. However, at the same time, it's like, I don't like wanting to dry heave before my match. So I just use humor, and like how many times I'm sure, enough people have heard me say, well, I can't wait to forget everything. All right, see you out there,
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
the same joke, but it's like almost my way of just telling myself it's going to be okay,
Yeah, yeah, and I think the business over the last, we'll say 20 years, at least 15 years, uh, has kind of been infiltrated. I don't even necessarily want to say on a positive or negative way, but like infiltrated by people like us, because like what you just said resonated with me in the sense that growing up, I was somebody that always diffused situations with humor. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
awkward situations. Not that I was like bullied or anything like that, but like I would diffuse like the ruffians or the bullies or the jocks or whatever with humor, and I would also get along with, I guess the kids that weren't as popular or like the nerdier group. I was a shapeshifter, man. Like, you know what I mean? And that I could sit at anybody's table and get along with any group. And, I think that in wrestling that sort of translated as well. You know what I mean? You can kind of I brought that sort of to the table too. And for whatever reason, I think that wrestling has attracted people like us over the last, like I said, 20, 15, 20 years,
Right.
because we went from being sort of like the nerdier outcast fans of wrestling in high school to people that wanted to do it enough that actually participated in it and learned to do it and actually became wrestlers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, everything, I think every character that we've ever, that we've created, I mean, obviously, I'm Kid Osborne all the time, but like, at one point I'm just, that never say die character or whatever. And that was just something that was given to me. And
Right,
then you slowly find yourself, like who I am in real life, come into like the character, or things that I hate come into my character. I think like, I was the rich kid in rich entitled kid or whatever at Dojo Wars, which,
right,
that I only became because like we did the lethal lottery or whatever, where you take a name out of a hat, and I was gonna wrestle Bad Boy 2, Ryo,
oh shit, I
and
forgot about
and
Bad
I
Boy
got,
too.
and like the 10 people there doing it, or the 10 people there booed me compared to him, and I was like, yeah, but I'm a good guy, and I finally just started coming back in the wrestling, and I was
Right,
done with school, and I had my real life established, which was frowned upon, in 20 fucking 15 or 2014, but
yeah,
but now it's completely fine. I'm just like, what the fuck? It was like yesterday.
dude,
uh,
yeah,
but
oh yeah,
and I got booed, and then I was like, well, all right, I'm just gonna be a heel, then I'm gonna listen to that, those three people booing, and I'm gonna just take it, and then I'm gonna be the bad guy in this situation. And I did, and I liked it, and I was like, well, fuck listening to everybody else in this shit. Like, I mean, why wouldn't it be believable for me to be a bad guy because I'm small? Like, fuck that. Like, and I didn't realize that until that moment happened or whatever. And it's because then I could just start being myself, or then being the things that I hated, which is what I think, that's what would take our real life and we input it into this world. And, and that's how we really like that. It's either that's how we have fun with this or that's how we succeed, or both.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, and certainly we're in a time now where, somebody like yourself doesn't need a big daddy cool to like do all his dirty work for him. You know what I mean?
Right.
We've obviously convinced the masses that anyone can wrestle anyone and men can wrestle women and, the little guy can beat the bigger guy. And, I'd be lying if I said that I was thrilled about that, because I think that it just, again, like we've been talking about how the game has changed and things like that. It just truly changed the game, and I think that I've been giving this some thought, but like compared to like the Monday Night Wars era when like 30-40 million people were watching wrestling every week, it's down to like 2 million or less. I think I'm being generous when I say 2 million are tuning into wrestling on a weekly basis. It's
right.
It's just completely so like the audience has been whittled down to such a small niche, like that. I don't know. It's just not the same anymore. So I guess what I'm getting at is, wrestling and wrestlers have to cater to that niche now instead of just making good art. You know what I mean? Instead of just paying homage to the art form, they have to do the silly things. Like they have to do the silly spots. They have to do the 1,000 finishers in a match. They have to do the dives.
Right.
To do work because we're now appealing to an audience who in real life never gets to feel any of that. So like they need so their orgasm, as I would, for lack of a better word, comes from watching crazy wrestling. You know what I'm saying? Like the only way to appease this audience is to do crazy shit. Super kick. That's why the fucking Young Bucks are on top of the world, and 20 years ago would have been thrown out of any locker room.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's
they
crazy.
Yeah, 100%. And but here's, I obviously we've talked about it before. I remember complaining incredibly, and then there are these times where, there are times where I go, that still right now, and I just go, man, that was way, like astronomical amount too much, but like, and like, and I talk about this with Jimmy Lloyd. Like he became like one of my really good friends. I can hang out with Jimmy a lot, and I talk about it. I'm like, dude, that was a lot. And he's like, yeah, that was a lot. But the point is like, people aren't willing anymore to wait, for like rest spots. Like they like aren't allowed to happen anymore. Like not because, we can't do it, and not because it doesn't necessarily always work, but like, the only time I would ever expect like the Young Bucks to have a rest spot with a hold or whatever would be if, man, he must have been sick or something, because like he doesn't. Yeah. There's no fucking way that guy is tired. Like like I don't believe that he gets tired. You know what I mean? And that's almost like a whole thing in itself. Whereas like and like the like Shawn Michaels or whatever that would take a hold or whatever from Yoko, and I would just go, I know that Yoko is the one that's fucking tired. However, I know that now, but then I'm looking at the face and the pesky face that Sean's making, and I go, dude, he looks fucking like this got hit by a train. He is tired. This is wearing him down. Where it's like that's not a thing really anymore unless you can really sell it. But I mean, you have to sell it all the time, like not like. Because if it was the Young Bucks, I don't believe that there's an off switch for them. They are like a train that just keeps fucking going, and I am so jealous. And that's the whole point. Is like, I see them do a million different moves and like so many different spots, and I was almost complaining about it, and then I kind of realized, part of me is fucking bitter that I can't do that.
Oh,
And
100%.
that's
Yeah,
why
same.
I don't want them to change what
Yeah.
I like,
Yeah.
because, if it ain't broke, don't fix it type of mentality. However, really a good part of me, actually probably the majority part of me is that I'm jealous. And
Yeah.
I think that's fine. Like
Same.
being jealous is completely fine. However, I instead would just say, it was unneeded and it was dumb and whatever. And then I'm just like, no. I mean, it's some things are stupid as shit, but I do a lot of stupid stuff too.
Same.
I don't have
Oh,
hundreds
yeah,
of thousands of people watching it.
Oh yeah, I mean in 2006, 7, Derek Frazier was jumping on my fucking like neck and shoulders off of a scaffold. You know what I mean? Like I had my arms on chairs and my feet in the rungs of the ladder off the mat, and he jumped off a scaffold and like stomped me, And we did that several fucking times. But going along with what you were saying.
You're like, that's a ridiculous spot. You're like, yeah, we did it like several times. And I go, wow.
Yeah, no,
nobody learns from that.
It's retardation, if I may say. But no, two things I wanted to sort of touch on along like what you were saying. My biggest concerns are like the two topics of just protecting the artist and the art form and the wrestlers, and two, this notion of evolution, and I'll get into that like second. But like my attitude about, we're just throwing out the Bucks, but anybody like them, anybody participating in that style of shit, like protection. My attitude comes from a place of wanting to protect the actors, and the workers, in the sense that I don't, and the way that evolution ties into this is that I don't truly believe that wrestling has evolved. People like to say that this is the evolution of wrestling, or wrestling has evolved, and I just could not disagree more. Evolution implies that a life form or an organism has developed a new appendage or a defense system or intelligence, so that their existence becomes easier, safer, and their longevity is more guaranteed. And what has happened in wrestling is the absolute opposite of that. Like, we are no longer protecting the athletes by the crazier we make their style of wrestling, the crazier that we make the moves, the crazier that we make the dives, the hardcore, the everything. You're not protecting the wrestler. You're actually shortening their careers. You know what I mean? Despite everything that modern medicine has to offer and physical
yoga.
therapy.
I mean, come on, man.
Oh yeah.
There's hot yoga now. Dude.
I'm gonna do one of those
sauna,
fucking...
dude. Fine, I'm fine.
Yeah,
I think I'm sick. I get in the sauna, I sweat it out, dude. I'm ready to go. I can.
Yeah, you get a couple stem cells. You get to do a little cryotherapy. You're fucking
dude,
right back out there.
This fucking
hyperbaric.
I go tanning. Tanning's safer.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, so I want to make it clear that like my bitterness comes from a place of wanting to protect. Like, everybody wants to get to, or at least back in the day, you wanted to graduate from CZW or Ring of Honor or whatever and get to WWE so that you can have the easier TV style matches where the crowd was easier to work. You had the larger platform, you had the global presence, and you didn't have to do head drops anymore. Well, that's all out the window. You know what I mean? Because even WWE and like NXT have adopted a more indie style where the kicks are fucking harder, the moves are more risque, and subsequently people are on the DL all the time. You know what I mean? People are fucking injured all the time, and that's why. So my point being, my bitterness and my dissatisfaction with wrestling comes from a place of we're not protecting the wrestlers, and evolution is the antithesis of what has happened to the business, in my opinion.
I don't think you're wrong, and I think that really it's not necessarily bitterness. I mean, it would be bitterness. It's bitter to those that think that they're completely fine,
right?
Until they're not, But
right.
I mean, we all we all like literally believe in something until we're proven wrong. It's like if I get my my information from the old guy at a bar, and then I take it as fact and then I spit it out until somebody fucking that's actually knowledgeable corrects me. I could go my entire life believing that, like, type of thing.
Sure.
That's how it would be. I would think it would be considered bitter, but really, you're coming from like more of like a more wholesome, caring perspective, and I think that's what should be more noted, is that, like, yeah, you're right, because there is a lot more that needs to be done. It's not like the Bucks, who seem like I wish I knew them so I could have them on here, but they, but to have their style and what they did because of what they thought was cool, and it is cool. It's cool as shit. Like, but we got involved in wrestling, and we get involved in wrestling, and then I'm like, well, I want to make it, and I'm like, well, I can do, like, I can't do that, and then
right.
but then,
like they've raised the bar to a height that somebody like you or I could not reach, because my moonsaults are just okay. You know what I mean? Like, they're just okay. Like, they can't do a really good one.
And I watched Hayabusa, break his neck, so I've literally been afraid since 2003. So, like, since I saw it when I was like 13. But anyway, to go back, it's just that it's not just them. There's so many different things they consider. All these things we were talking about. One, there's the gift factor. Literally every match, I don't just think about telling a good story all the time anymore. I did, and that's all I wanted to do because that's what I like. However, I want my character to be versatile, in the sense that it's I don't know if that was the right word necessarily, but I want those that don't have a high attention span, which is nobody anymore, and I need to have 4 or 5 to 10 spots, or moves or something cool. Even me, like, having like a really funny facial expression or something like that after taking a move. So it's not necessarily I have 5 to 10 spots every match that I have. It's just that I need 5 to 10 things that can be captured so that they can be gift, or they could be, put on something so that somebody wants to watch me, or they want to retweet it, or they want to like it on Twitter or whatever. But that's the thing. Like, that's a thing I have to consider when I have a match. Then I have to consider those that actually watch an entire match, not just the ones that are there, but those that are willing to watch an entire 15-minute match or whatever at home, which is like none of us. Like, I still just watch old wrestling or whatever, and a lot of the time whenever I watch anything now, it's either because it's live, and I'm genuinely interested because they're like my friends, and like there are guys that I'm friends with that I'm fans of, like Deppen, Tony Deppen. I fucking will watch everything of his because I think, like, he has everything, like, everything about him. It's just I mean, I know him personally, and then I like his facial expressions when he's not even like thinking he's on camera, his facial expressions. And I like, I like how he tells a story, and I like the spots that he does. So, to me, those are all things that I want to watch. However, if I'm not watching them live, it takes an arm and a leg for me to want to watch it. And that's not because I don't enjoy them. It's because I am that I don't have the attention span for it. And if I don't have the attention span for it, then how the fuck do most of these fans that just drink Mountain Dew and they haven't had water in weeks or whatever, like, how do they do it? And so that's one aspect, that's one factor.
Yeah. And I was just saying, not to cut you off, but like, and certainly, we've been around a lot of live wrestling and then have watched it back on DVD or on a GIF or whatever. And a lot of it just simply doesn't translate if you weren't there. You know what I mean? If you weren't there to feel the environment and hear the actual crowd and not just like what the microphone picked up or whatever, it just doesn't translate,
Right. Right. And that's like, so when you left, to go back before, because I do want to bring him up because I know that you met him. I know you probably know him, but I'll bring him up. It's just that what I think his value is more value than I think me as a wrestler. You know, I 100% more. But I mean,
Who's
obviously,
Zeppin?
yeah, I get it. Like if there's no wrestler, there would be no footage. But regardless, I'll bring it up in a second. I'll bring him up in a second because I wanted to add him into a list that, a small list that I wanted to just bring up. And
Sure.
And then, but yeah, that gift presence of the short attention span is one of those issues. And then, fan opinions matter more because just like us, like, dude, if there was some stand-up comedian brought it up, and he's like, we live in a world now where if I can literally get on my phone and I can tweet the fucking president of the United States.
Yeah.
And there's an actual fucking chance he could see it. Like,
right. Yeah.
That's unbelievable. That's still, if that doesn't blow people's minds when you say it like that, then like maybe I'm getting too old, or you're just fucking super ignorant. And I wish I was that ignorant, because it is bliss. Because I think of that and I get afraid sometimes to tweet things because I don't want to piss off like my favorite actor.
Right. It's wild because, like, the few times that I've had celebrities or comedians that I either like something I said or retweet something, it's like the coolest feeling. It's like getting the letter back in the mail when you would write baseball players when you were a kid or whatever. Like you get a fucking Rafael Palmeiro autograph card or something. You know what I mean? I'm 100. I'm 100. Okay, I'm old.
Rafael Palmeiro.
Hey, fuck you. He's awesome. He was. And I still have these Brady Anderson sideburns because I was a fan of Brady Anderson on the Orioles, by the way. But no, it's to your point though. It's such a different time because Twitter and Facebook and all these things, like, fans have kind of become like your advertisers. You know what I mean? They are the ones that sort of invest in you, and even while you're under contract with WWE or whatever, WWE looks at how much the fans advertise for you, like how much they're marking out for you, how much they're retweeting your bullshit, how much they're sharing
your bullshit. Yeah,
right. I mean,
it's all bullshit. Like I don't know what I'm saying.
It's 100% bullshit.
Oh, dude.
And it's even crazier too that like anybody gets mad when they are publicly ridiculed, not understanding that when you put something out to the public, you're subjecting yourself to praise and also ridicule. Like, you know what I mean? Like, anybody can call you anything and say whatever they want about you, and that doesn't give you the right to say cancel them, they called me a bitch or whatever. It's just not how it works, man.
It is. Yeah. And that was another one. And then the one last one is like, dude, ever since HD and everything comes out, we were like, when I remember watching Raw and it was in HD, and it was like a way for them to advertise it. It was like Triple H looking over at Shawn and going, oh. He's like, what? What is it? What is it? And it's like talking about his bald spot, and I'm just like, oh my God, like, he's fucked, dude. Shawn's fucked. Everyone's gonna see his Googler. Like, it's over, dude. It's over. He can't hang anymore. And now look at him. He looks like there was like a meme about him. Like, dude, he looks like the back end of a Christmas tree that you didn't decorate.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, I'm like, oh my God. Like, I hope I don't like turn into that. Like, I mean, that just like you just gotta shake it out, dude. It's like you found God, and then all of a sudden everything went downhill, like, but
you were definitely fucking cuter 10 years ago, but it is what it is. You know what I mean?
Once I shaved, that's the only reason I didn't is, enough individuals have said, like, oh, no, keep it, and I'm just like, oh, I don't give a shit, like,
I don't give a shit.
As long as I can dye it brown, black, and you know, and it makes my teeth whiter, you know. But you know, because of that HD, you know, and everything's more, you get, there's that, and then the fact that like dude, we're recording this on my phone, my iPhone 12 that I could record a fucking movie on, and I record all my promos on. I get an app that like just filters it and makes it look like, you know, that like it was professionally edited, and I just go, holy shit, this is the easiest thing on the planet. And you know, and yet there's still people that just record it in their fucking car while holding it. And I just
it's
just
annoying.
Get a fucking ring light, you know. As I say this in my kitchen, but you know what, I'm freaking
I got a ring light on over here. That's why I look so.
Why you think my eyes look like? You know, I'm like, hey, let me look at the camera, you know, as if I'm looking at you. But there's that, and then there's multiple angles. So why do you think you feel like you have to lay it in? Because there's going to be one side of the fucking room, not just one side of the room, but like the one side of the room that's recording it that you missed
in HD, right?
Yeah. And in HD, it's like, I gotta lay that fucking thing in here, you know. And I don't need to, and I don't need to, like, I have to punch you, you know, square in the face, and then also we're gonna do like 8 million other spots, you know. But it's it all, like, for the negative part of it, it all just came in there. But then at the same time, there are some fans that are, you know, like for the most part, most of them are really, really fucking forgiving. Like,
and I mean, just talking about that, it made me think about like stuff we were talking about earlier about really, really green people having television opportunities, and I mean, no more apparent does that become than just if you follow WrestleBotch or Botchamania or whatever. Like, thank you for, you know, constantly letting these like amateurs work, and even some of these like quote unquote professionals, because it feeds me with, you know, several moments of entertainment watching them fuck up all the time. You know what I mean? Like, people, like, I was watching NXT a few weeks ago, and one of the girls that's in like that main sort of trinity of bitches there right now with Mandy Rose tried to do some like slingshot through the middle rope, roll through DDT or whatever, and she fucked up. Like, she fucked up her own offense. Just fucked, like, got her feet caught on the top rope and then had to like rebound. And it's like, whoever's fucking idea it is to stick people out there, you know, females or otherwise, it doesn't matter the gender, but like to stick these green fucking assholes out there before they're polished and then pass it off as like the top tier of pro wrestling. Like, what the fuck are you doing? You know what I mean?
No, exactly. And the thing is, like, I mean, everybody, you know, I mean, I think I've always felt, I mean, and I could be completely wrong. It could just be my own self. But I've always felt like, I've always, what the hell? Are you still on there?
Yeah, I'm here. I just don't see you. Maybe like my connection might have got shitty or something.
I got you now. I've always felt that like I was that there was this like double standard with me. You know, that I couldn't, you know, like that I would be judged if I fucked up a spot, like that was gonna cost me my next booking, you know, or, you know, at that promotion or whatever. And I have it in the back of my head. Whereas I then at the same time thought, you know, like if this fucking girl did it, you know, then like you guys would be like, oh, it's okay, it's fine, you know, like you're hot, like, and I just go, and that was my over exaggerant yet somewhat realistic point of view, and then I come to learn, like, now I'm just like, why do I think I have this double standard? Is because I'm too busy comparing myself, you know, to those that, like, of course there are going to be girls that are really hot and they suck. But guess what?
Yeah, we know a couple.
If they continue to suck, they're not going to hang. The same way I'm not going to hang. There is no difference. It was just it was me giving myself shit and then and comparing myself, which was the issue. Whereas really it was like, dude, why are you bitching all the time, and like,
Yeah.
you know, and then, you know, whereas, but to your point, 100%, like there are, you know, there are girls and there are guys that can't fucking hang, and they get the opportunity, for whatever fuck reason, but
Right.
it, and sometimes it works in their favor, and they can do it. I think, you know, like we think of guys that like come from wrestling, like second generation wrestlers, like Brian Pillman
Sure.
Jr. Brian Pillman,
Right.
you know, it just started, and then, you know, he was at MLW, and here I'm friends with him, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
you know, and I watch the way, you know, he works or whatever, and I can see like a little bit of cockiness towards, oh, smack the shit out of that little bitch, but you know, he ain't listening to this motherfucker, but
not as good as your dad.
yeah, but like I fucking love that dude. However, like I also know that, like, you know, if he, like, he can hang, like, because he learned, he lucked out, and everybody has their thing. Not lucked out, I mean, like, at the end of the day, it's like,
He would have
why
to work
wouldn't
harder.
he do what
He
he
would
did?
have to work harder without that name. You know what I mean?
He would have to work harder. However, he 100% has the ability to do it. Like, he has,
Right.
he just did it faster because, you know, it's a family thing. Like, it's like, you know, if I wanted to be a plumber, like, shit, you know, I had the guy that can hook me up. It would be my dad, you know, like,
Yeah.
so I'm
Your
literally,
dad was Super Mario. Right.
Yeah, in real life, I'm the son of a plumber, you know, but, you know, I don't think I ever said that to anybody, but, but it's just that when we work in comparing, you know, when I compare, that's how I you know, interpret it now. I just go, why the fuck am I constantly comparing myself? This is why I get a twitch in my eye, and I'm eventually gonna have an aneurysm, and they're gonna find me dead in my bathroom. But like,
Oh, dude, like I've been stricken with fucking TMJ recently. Like I mean, I haven't been diagnosed yet, but like my jaw's fucked up on a daily basis. Like, just like it's really tight and pain, and like I get headaches, and it's all just from like worry and stress and grinding my
yeah,
teeth while I fucking sleep, dude. Like I have
yeah,
fucking jaw problems now, you know. So look forward to that when you're
yeah.
older.
It's just, I might as well just start chewing on foil right now, you know. I get
Yeah.
lockjaw now, you know, but
I was gonna say let's do some lightning round stuff, and we'll cover a few more
yeah.
things.
We,
You know, because we've been at it for a while, and nobody wants
yes,
to
we
hear me
have,
talk
and
that
I
long.
feel like we could definitely go for forever. But I don't want it to be like a, you know, like one of your podcasts that are like 8 hours long. So I appreciate you cutting me off because you're tired and old, and
Yeah.
that's an uncorked first, you know.
Well, he's not wrong, folks. He's not wrong. I'm
Yeah.
gonna die soon.
But I wanted to, a couple of the things, well, before we
Yeah.
start dropping names, which we only have like a couple, but
Right.
it would be, so right now, who one of your favorites to work with and travel with? They don't have to be the same. The name
Right.
might
I mean, certainly in my early career, you know, Derek Frazier was like my nemesis slash, you know, later tag partner or whatever. You know, we both helped like helped each other sort of cut our teeth and make our mark in CZW as legitimate talents,
mm-hmm.
and got guys that people saw potential in, and had room to grow. You know, and this was during a time when CZW was like the Apollo. You know what I mean? Where you didn't have many chances to sort of prove your worth before you were worthless. You know,
Right.
so Derek Frazier for sure. Gulak definitely brought the best out of me toward the tail end of my career. Made me work hard at Dojo Wars, got me ready to actually be world champion. And then I would say certainly Black G's as well. We were just like foes our entire careers. You know what I mean? Like anytime we worked, you know, we beat the shit out of each other, but we were best fucking friends, you know, behind the scenes, and you know, loved each other. No homo. But we got to get that in because he'll get mad otherwise.
Yeah, he will. Yeah, he will.
No, but yeah, Black G's. You know,
You don't
Greg
find
was
him
always.
attractive at all, though. Like you wouldn't.
No, he's like a Prince Yashua if you watch a lot of pornography, you know.
Yeah.
He's he's the Lexington Steel to my Rocco Siffredi. You know what I mean? And he'll appreciate those name drops.
Yeah, he does. He loves.
Like,
I remember like one time he hit me up and he was saying how much he really liked Lexington Steel. I remember him like saying how much he did. No, is that right? Isn't that right? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's right. You black
And that's
asshole.
cool. And not. I mean, I just want it to be clear for everybody listening that Nell, the Black G's, said that to me. You know, let's see what he says.
Sure. I'm trying to think of who else was always. I mean, Greg was always fun to work. I've worked him probably half a dozen times or more. Greg, excellent.
Have you seen him recently?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah,
He's Chisel from Stone. Fuck him.
Yeah, he's in better shape than I ever was.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It actually kind of pisses me off. I'm glad that he's got saggy skin. Fuck him.
But no, I mean, and the other part of that was like traveling people. All those people are sort of on like the fun to travel with list as well. Latin Dragon was always fun to train with, wrestle. Always had great matches with him. You know, we'd blow ourselves up, and he'd somehow like I'd try to Yakuza kick him and not even be able to get my leg up. I'd hit him in the gut, and he'd still like shooting star bump off of it somehow.
His little beer belly, his little Buddha belly.
Yeah, somehow.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Gacy, like we had a really fun group of guys that would always go to Excite Wrestling up in Binghamton, New York. Like me, Gacy, Greg, Alexander James. Sometimes like Brooke would be in there or Brittany Blake, like, you know, interchangeable people. Homicide was fun. Anytime I got to be in a car with him. Missy Sampson is a great fucking ball breaker. I love Missy. And like I said, Nell and Joker too. Like I'm looking over at my list of people that I wrote down. And Gulak. Like most people don't understand, like because Gulak's such a serious worker and like such a hard-nosed asshole sometimes.
Oh,
like he's so silly. Yeah, he's so silly. He's so silly to just be with and hang out with. He's such a silly goose. He loves to have a silly goose time, and it's fun, you know.
He's always like, so, you know, I remember like the one, I feel like the only time which I ever argued with him was about, it was something with wrestling, and then and he was like, well, if you do it that way, then you don't like wrestling. I was like, or you don't like appreciate, or you don't want to make it or whatever. I was like, well, I don't fucking like wrestling the same way you do, you know? Yeah. And he's just like, he didn't have anything. Like that was it. That was the end of it. I was like, holy shit, did I just get him? Did I? Because like that's a fucking accomplishment, you know?
Yeah. If you could ever win an argument or like a conversation where he's trying to dominate you like that, for sure, you win. You won that day.
I'll remember that until the day I'm dead. But like, you know, but now it's every time I'm in Orlando, I texted him today actually because just to see what was going on. But every time I'm in Orlando, I hit him up and they'll pick me up. We'll go and get like dinner or something like that. And then and he came like the last time I saw him was the last time I was there before I got hurt. And then he came to, it was Soundbar because it was for No Peace Underground, and he's just hanging out, and like, you know, obviously I bring him in and everybody's like, holy shit, they're on WWE guy, you know, and it's like, this fucking asshole, is he
this fucking guy?
All he did was just give me my name, you know. And then make me come out to Boys of Summer by the Ataris, but
that worked.
Right?
It worked for you. He was
did.
right.
I guess it did. And you know, he's in there and he's just coming up with like idea after idea, and I'm just like, I'm appreciating, like, you know, him even more just because I'm like, oh man, that's just like, he just fucking values, like, he just loves it. He loves it so much that it's autopilot. He's not gonna remember that he did that. He's gonna remember that he was there and that he came up with different ideas or whatever. But he's just one of those dudes that you just hit up at any point, just like, hey, you want to get a cheesesteak? And you're like, and he's like, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
go to the bar king, you know.
He never. I mean, not to use a double negative, but he never doesn't get back to me. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like if I text him, it's, you know, it might be a day if he's busy or something. You know, he'll get back to me. You know, whereas there's definitely some people that. Some people did sort of become unreachable, you know what I mean, over the years that I've known and we're close with.
Yeah, they're impossible, like as in they're too over, and
Yeah, right. Like,
and I guess really if it makes any sense, like Drew's just not over enough, he's just
yeah. What we're saying is like get a better shtick, Drew.
yeah,
Is what we're
yeah,
saying, like enough of the submission holds, enough. Do some flips or whatever, Do
about
some
time he went
guys.
to the top, no, but yeah, I'm definitely, I would say that he's uh it was so important to have him involved in and I know he's probably like, you didn't do anything I listened to, or you didn't listen to anything I said.
Yeah,
You didn't
right,
listen
right,
to
right,
anything I said, and I just go, that's bullshit, because I really did. And there were times where you think I wasn't, and I really was. It just didn't hit me until like 6 years later, because I'm a late
yeah,
bloomer. I'm a late
right,
bloomer.
right, right.
But
I understand.
So anyway, this is the good part here. This is probably the part we all really we've been waiting for.
I bet.
Who
I
are
think I
the
know what.
worst people for you to be
Oh,
around?
oh, I thought you were going to talk about a different bullet
Oh no,
point.
I will. I'll bring them up. But I
Uh,
mean, but who are the worst people to be around? And shit, you might bring them up. I don't know. But
well, I mean, obviously, fucking DJ. Like, DJ was always. I
no,
mean,
this is what I thought would be the worst. But yeah.
no, I'm trying to think of who like I ever had any like real problems with. I mean, anybody that fucking ever just kind of talked too much. You know what I mean? And like we were talking about David Starr earlier, and like in his early career, he was a lot to deal with. I would have conversations with him about why he should or shouldn't do something or say something or shouldn't say this. Like I argued with him and JT Dunn about the over as fuck slogan because like when they were doing the juicy product thing and like having somebody who's fucking 10 years younger than you or more try to explain to you what the word over means. It's like, hey dude, no man, like you're using it in the wrestling sense, you're not using it in the that went over well sense, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to think, like guys like fucking like Stockade's not making any friends anymore. Like he's hard to fucking be around because he don't shut the fuck up or ever shut up about himself or whatever the fuck. It's like so I don't know. Like I just can't think of anybody off the top of my head that I ever really had like heat with or beef with or could not fucking stand to be around. But just in general, younger people in the business that can't seem to get out of their own way and ever shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? I can't really think of anybody off the top of my head that was just like miserable to be around. Because like I mean, towards the tail end of my career, I felt like I was surrounded by mostly good people, good kids, good students at Dojo Wars. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I don't have a whole lot of mud to sling in that regard.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Was
mean,
was there anybody you
everybody
were
that
thinking that I would say? Was there anybody you were
no,
thinking that
no,
I would say?
really, honestly, I would have been surprised because, at least within the entire time that like we've known each other, like I remember, when we learned that when we were gonna wrestle or whatever at CZW,
Yeah.
and I remember when they didn't have the Ataris or whatever, because that was during a time when you couldn't just fucking put it up. And
Yeah, you had to bring a
and
CD or whatever.
yeah, and I had to come to the ring to Nickelback Rockstar. And and I remember that, and I remember you coming in, but I remember when you were walking in with a certain ex, and I remember us just being like giddy as fuck about it.
Yeah. We were
and
pumped.
and you gave me shit, because I mean not give you gave me shit in the match, which was
Yeah.
like as a vet would do,
Yeah.
and it was awesome, it was just a good time because I get to like work with my friend. It was like the first, I think, I really think of it more as I get to work with my friend for the first time. So I think you were like the first friend I got to like work with that like we were cool, like, and it was.
Oh yeah, buddy.
And I thought that was like that was important to me, and that was 2010, I think.
Yeah, nine or 10 probably.
2009. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just remember
End of 9, early 10 probably.
Yeah.
End of 9,
Yeah.
early 10.
And I remember, that being pretty important. I was 19 years old. You were 32. You're the age I am now.
Dude. I think I would probably have been I would have been 27 or 28 because I mean you were talking about I was dating I had just started dating Kim at the time, Kimberly, for those in the know. And that was the end of 2009, early 2010. So we probably worked then. I was 27, 28 ish. And now I'll be fucking 40.
Now.
Yeah. Fucking I'm 100.
I don't know why. I just always thought you were a lot older than me, more.
I'm like Ra's al Ghul, dude. I'm fucking, I'm gonna live forever, and the benefit of being me, the benefit of being me is like I looked terrible 15 years ago, so now that it's just kind of held up, like I look good now because like I looked bad then. You know what I mean? That whole rule.
Well, the whole thing for me is that you look like a graphic designer.
now I do, especially now I really do.
It's like the way like the way that I fucking see it. Whereas like me, it's like I'm still going tanning, dyeing my hair, like black, having a whole beard. Like having a presence, like my eyes didn't turn gray, or like blurred like an old dog, like they just have that like, wow, he's still really trying, isn't he? You go to the gym today? Of course he did. Piece of shit. Wait till you stop. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy that was that long ago. But since we're already on the subject, well, I mean, again, yeah, I had nobody that I could think of at the top of my head that like, that you didn't like, that you was unbearable to be with. But because I felt like everybody that, you would surround yourself with were pretty like cool,
Yeah.
Like, or, at least you would just ignore those that weren't.
Right. And I mean, like locker rooms were always kind of clicky for the most part. Like there was a period in CZW probably around like 2012, 13, 14 where like everyone was pretty tight. Like whether you were in OI4K, Nation of Intoxication, the Front, the Campaign, like everybody, like we all just wanted everybody to do great. You know what I mean? There wasn't this famine mentality of like there's only enough room for so many of us. Everybody wanted everyone to kill it and do good, whether you were first, middle, or last.
Yeah.
And that was a real special time.
Yeah, exactly. I definitely like. I mean, to somewhat I miss seeing it. The other part is like I'm happy where I'm at now because I'm so happy.
Yeah.
I'm so happy I'm not at CZW.
Especially now.
I fucking but I mean I even like before it's like, man.
I remember you left.
He didn't want me to succeed. He didn't want me to fucking succeed. No. And it really honestly it took Drew talking to me on the phone about it and literally telling me you need to fucking quit, like you're not gonna make it. And I'm like, it's insanity. I've been doing it for so long that I think maybe now, and it's not. And and also Brett Lauderdale literally calling me and messaging me telling me how I need to fucking leave, and I couldn't believe that was coming from him, and I've also known him for so long. He was my high school internship, whatever. He was the person that signed off on my shit. So which I wish I had that paperwork. I would fucking kill to have that paperwork of him signing off, for me when in high school. But so anyway, let's see, rapid fire here. What are your thoughts of CZW towards when the tail end of when you started, when you were in the midst of it, and then when you became Sozio, and you you're in CZW, you became champion, and then and then when you left, and then also what it became, and then what the fuck it is right now.
Sure. I mean, that's certainly a loaded question and a lot
And
to
not
unpack.
rapid fire either.
Yeah. I mean, certainly when I was first breaking into the company, it was literally 2002. I was a sophomore in college, and it was a company that I had gone to with my buddies from Bristol every month for about 4 or 5 months. And then I was like, oh, their school is like right over the bridge. I'm going to go try out and see if I can actually do this, because like, I was the crazy one of my class that would actually do it, so I did that. And that was like February of my sophomore year. Zandig was like, you're trainable, you can come back and train, here's how much it costs. So like that summer I started to train there, and just yeah, like, and like that was just the term that they used. Like,
I know,
after
but
they
that
put
was
you through
that's great.
yeah, it's like, you did the back bump, handstand bump, flip bump, and hit the ropes good. So I guess we can, you'll be able to do this. Here's how much it costs. So like that summer I started to train, and, probably less than a year later, I was having like debut matches and stuff in CZW, which at the time was an elite indie. It was at the legendary ECW arena, in front of what is the wrestling equivalent to the Apollo comedy crowd. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
So it was a real special time. You know what I mean? It was it felt, you felt truly accomplished to be a part of that. And it was everything is only relative to the person saying it, but like, it was a much different locker room. It was a much more talented and special locker room. And to sort of be accepted by them, to be accepted by Adam Flash, Messiah, Nick Burke, the Backseat Boys, Ruckus, and everybody that was like a name back then, it was fucking crazy. You know what I mean? It was like it's not really a dream come true, but like, wow, like I really did this. I really crossed over, and I'm a part of this now. And then my career kind of just was what it was for a lot of years. I definitely let a lot of what I just said go to my head. I definitely, anytime I worked any other indies, I carried with me, I'm a CZW guy, you know what I mean? And that makes me better. That somehow makes me better or whatever. And that really isn't the case, or ever was. So I kind of had some growing up and learning to do throughout the first decade of the 2000s. You know what I mean? And truly, it wasn't until like I sort of met Sammy Callahan, and he brought me into Force One Pro Wrestling and kind of got me out of the doldrums of whatever I was doing then, and rekindled my love for pro wrestling. Helped me get back into shape, helped me use Force One as a place to showcase how good I was getting, so that I could kick open the door to CZW again, and be back where I belong. And then it was Gulak and Rory, and also Ace, who kind of came up with the idea of me becoming Nico Sozio, or just Sozio at the time or whatever. And some bullshit shtick where Niles Young had discovered some things about his family's history and is now embracing his heritage and blah blah blah. And it sort of started out as a that wine's hitting me there. It sort of started out,
right? Doesn't it fucking make it better?
It does. The
whole premise of the show, dude.
It does. No, but like it sort of started out as like a silly shtick, like the whole mafioso thing.
Yeah.
We were laundering money through Drew Gulak's campaign, or whatever the fuck we were saying we were doing. Dude, it was the best. It was the fucking best. And if anybody doesn't think so, you're just a hater. But no, and still the best promo of all time was the campaign versus the front leading up to WrestleCon. If you've ever seen that promo where we're all in the parking lot and Trooper gives the briefcase to Dewey gives the briefcase to Trooper, and it's full of like Drew Gulak 8x10s instead of the money, and we're like, "Where's the fucking money?" And Drew drives away with his whole his whole crew of like Kim and Nui and Alexander James, and he's like, "See you at WrestleCon, yeah!" Like it was the dumbest shit ever, dude. But anyway, when we first started doing the Sozio and the front thing, we didn't know where it was going to go. And then we broke away from Drew. We started a feud with Drew. And then we were like this real thing, man. Like we were, I had transitioned from the managerial role into a wrestling role again. And then over a year and a half time was the fucking world champion of CZW, which,
Dude,
people
so,
can.
I mean, it blows my mind just because of like who we are in real life and like how we just go, how the fuck? Like that means that could happen to anybody. Like, I mean, not just because you're not talented, nothing about talent or your character. It just goes, I know, we know the owner of this, DJ, and you, it just wouldn't fucking happen. Like, and then it did. And you're like, all right, fucking anything can happen, man.
Yeah, dude. And I mean, truly, you have to want it, man. You have to want it. It can't be given to you. And anytime it is, it doesn't translate. Like if world titles are ever just given to people, it doesn't ever translate or resonate with the audience that you're putting it in front of. And like all of us worked hard as hell that year and a half to tell that story and that saga. And we weren't even supposed to be the Cage of Death match. Something fell through and it kind of had to be us in the last couple of months leading up to Cage of Death. It was supposed to be like Masada and some other guys that are normally doing that kind of shit. But then suddenly it was like I got a phone call from probably Drew or DJ, or I don't remember exactly who, but he was like, "Do you guys want to be in the cage this year?" And we were like, "What? Okay, yeah." And like, so we just told the story, how we had to tell it.
Yeah.
Obviously, Drew and I hated each other. I had Money in the Bank Biff, and that's how I won the title, basically. Like, I kind of cashed in an opportunity against him, and that's how I stole the title from him. And then sort of last minute, we wedged Black G's into the whole mix, and it became, like, in my opinion, one of the best non-team, like, Cage of Death matches ever. You know what I mean? Where it's just it's a four-way singles match, singles competitors, and we told a fucking hell of a story. Like, I don't know whose idea it was to do like the bags hanging around the cage with the different weapons in it. Probably Drew.
Oh, you mean like, like the weed whacker that you guys were impenetrable to? Yeah,
yeah.
Because you're fucking immortal all of a sudden.
Well, you saw my abs back then. My abs were fucking amazing.
Yeah,
then.
it's true.
So,
I mean, like Zandig just couldn't hang,
Yeah, no, fuck him. Fuck him and the Storm. But yeah, man. So I mean, to continue to kind of answer your question, and no, it was a time in my life that I'll never forget. I truly felt special. I truly felt accomplished. Because like you said, I mean, it was a goal that I had set out for myself, but in 2002, when I was watching CZW in the audience, never thought that I would someday be the main guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or even have it in me to ascend to that, get myself in that kind of shape and take everything that serious, learn the craft that well. You know what I mean? So it was really special. But as far as what would transpire in the years after I left, it was just a slow disintegration of what I saw while I was there, and it just got worse and worse and worse until, between the pandemic and DJ getting himself into hot water with the stupid shit that he's done for years and years. Like I really I can't even believe that they're even trying right now. I can't even believe that.
Yeah.
I mean I can't believe that there's a CCW that's even remotely associated with him. You know what I mean? Because I think, as far as I know, he's still the owner and he's still the guy. He's just he no longer. I think he finally at least knows better enough to not put his face or name on it anymore. because I mean, I haven't seen even so much as a picture of him at a CZW show, which is the right thing to do. I just think, unfortunately, it's too late for that place. It's they have already drowned and they're at the bottom of the ocean, and there's no reviving them. There's just no reviving it.
Yeah,
and it's unfortunate. You know what I mean? It's and you know, people like myself and you know Nell and you know, I talk to J-Cat a lot, and you know, the reason that we hate it is because it's like watching something you love die. You know what I mean? Something that we had a passion for and that we truly loved and we loved to participate in, either as a fan or a wrestler, and we've had to watch it slowly die, and now it's kind of being walked around like Weekend at Bernie's. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's over. Yeah, it's over. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, it's a kick in a dead horse, but you know, just because we really you know, I mean, I knew we were gonna talk this long. I fucking knew it.
Yeah,
I called it.
Yeah.
I called it. I just wanted to say.
Do you want to cover dating in wrestling real fast? And I'll be real fast with that. I'll be real fast.
I was just gonna skip over it.
No. Trust me. This isn't gonna be like my shoot interview was. No, not at all. The only thing I'll say about dating in wrestling is just don't do it. Just don't, because like and here's the long and short of it. All of us, and I speak for you and for me and everybody in wrestling that we know, we're all mentally and emotionally damaged people. Okay, like for one reason or another, we're all fucking very damaged people. So when you put two of them together, it just doesn't work out. It just doesn't, because you're both trying to fill a void that is not fillable. And so therefore the love that you get from your companion in wrestling will never be enough either. And I'll just leave it at that. You know what I mean? So it's just not something that can work. And for the few, I guess, couples in wrestling that we know that are functioning or high functioning, it's eventually going to fall apart. Shit. I wish you the best. Yeah. So, but yeah,
I'll leave it like that.
Don't
and the other is, dude, I want to know your opinion on like GCW and Brett Lauderdale. You know, who put it. I mean, dude, you see how huge it is. You can't fucking ignore it. Like if you have any, if you were to stop talking to all of us, like you were to just block us and everything. Like everything that had any resemblance to wrestling, and then you just so happen to put on TNT, you're seeing Moxley come to the ring in a GCW sweatshirt. You're like, you know, it's become something so big in 4 years, and you know,
right.
and you left already, but you know, what are your thoughts on it, on what it is and what it's become?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great. Like, I mean, I regardless of like my history with anybody that's in charge there or whatever, like I'm fine with Brett Lauderdale. Like, our you know, everybody assumes that the reason that he's in the business is because in 2007 or whatever, I headbutted him in the crowd, and he somehow, you know, subsequently got into the CZW locker room, and that was the start of Brett Lauderdale. That's just not true or whatever. But like him and I are fine. You know, we're not best friends, but we're fine. You know, does he look like he has an extra chromosome? Yes, of course he does. But is he a smart businessman? Yes. Like he's an incredibly smart businessman, and he picked up the torch that CZW dropped a long time ago, and gave the fans what they've always wanted, you know what I mean, and capitalized on that. And I mean, I don't really watch it ever, but I mean, from what I see, the stuff is good. I think they probably go a little too hard in the paint sometimes with like the deathmatch shows, or you know, you have too many death matches on a show, you kind of burn the crowd out. But that's just like, you know, criticism or whatever. I think it's great. I think like I said, I think he makes all the right moves that DJ never could. Like I think Brett is really good at actually doing the things that DJ would always talk about doing. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. He's done that.
And making the smart partnerships and business partners, and certainly knows how to advertise and sell out venues across the country. So good for them. And hopefully, they last. Hopefully it doesn't go south for some reason.
Yeah, I think at this point he's made every right decision that he's needed to. But
yeah.
And then last thing I got for you, man, is are you too old for a comeback? Are you too old for a match?
So.
Like if it could ever set up, and make a little I don't know, like a 3-month run somewhere. I don't fucking know. Like, would you do it? Would you train first? I don't want you coming in there looking.
Oh yeah, no. Like, if I tried to have a match right now, I'm dying in the ring. I wish I was kidding. I wish I was kidding when I say that, but like these last 2 years have not been kind to me in the sense that I was already getting to be in bad shape, but then like my sedentary lifestyle over the last 2 years, being a graphic designer stuck in the house because of fucking COVID and shit. Like I'm just in real bad shape. I still look fly, but no, I'm in bad shape. No, it's a nice daydream to have. You know what I mean? It's a nice thing to think about.
Oh, but so basically, if I fucking were to nag, and if I dedicated enough time, like I should to other things, if I dedicated enough time to nagging you,
yeah,
in the wrestling, you probably would do it. And
I would do it.
And I'm also friends with Danielle, so like I could just be like, hey, yo, I said this to Jeff. I need you to reiterate it. And then she'll just go, oh, okay. Like, get him out of the fucking house.
Yeah, please. Take him for the weekend. Please. Get him.
Yeah. She says that to me a lot, man. So we gotta make that fucking happen. Yeah. So I think the next time I have something somewhere, that I'm just gonna take you with me. And that's just what I gotta do because
take me with you to like one of your shows so I can like shit on everybody in the locker room.
Exactly.
No, I mean, to answer your question, if I was in shape and if it wouldn't take me probably a fucking full year right now to like get in actual wrestling shape, I'm not even kidding, dude. I would need to do a serious amount of cardio, clean up my diet, and be in the weight room for a year before I would feel comfortable subjecting myself to the punishment of a match or even feeling safe doing moves to you, you know what I'm saying, without hurting you or myself. But it's funny that you say that because like I even joked with Danielle, I can't even remember, probably 2 years or more ago now, and I said like, it'd be really fun if like I got into shape and I talked to somebody like Tremont and I said, tell Kyle he's booked, but do not tell him who he's wrestling until he's walking out there, and it would be me. And like we would just call some shit out there on the fly because we're good at that.
I would shit my pants.
How much would you shit?
I'd be taking everything smiling,
I knew that.
Oh my god, he just dropped me on my fucking head. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, like I actually like, but no, in all seriousness, buddy, like if I was to do it, I would definitely do it for you. But there's not many people that I would want to come back and do that for, like seriously, like I wouldn't.
I think you owe me a real match. I mean, you gave it your retirement match to some 15-year-old that didn't do anything, and his dad that he also really didn't accomplish much. But like, I just wish that you did it for somebody important, But so, I mean, it would be a dream of mine. It would be a really nice gift, to come to. So I'm just saying, but anyway, man, I just want to say thanks for coming on my show, and thanks for being a bitch and being one for years, and
You know what? You're a bitch, and you've always been a bitch. That's my
Yeah, you've
favorite
been a
Kid
bitch for
Osborne
years.
fucking. That's my favorite Kid Osborne catchphrase.
No, dude, I obviously I appreciate you. You're definitely
Love
one
you
of
too.
the most knowledgeable people I've ever come in contact with in this wrestling business. Not in real life, but I mean, in the wrestling
No.
business. And you do look great. I miss you, and
Thanks,
I'm
buddy.
definitely gonna steal you for a weekend to save Danielle, not to benefit myself. So,
Yeah, man.
so
I love you too. I love you too, buddy.
all right, man. Thanks for coming on my show.
Yeah, man.
Ugh, dude, I hope it's your last day.